So good afternoon, good evening, everyone. If you can hear me anywhere you are, good evening, everyone. If you can hear me, just send a chat menu. Send a message on a chat menu so that I can hear you. Good evening. This evening, God bless you anywhere you are. I am John Odemi. I'll be taking the open prayer, and this is the experience 1.2, and we are going to be dealing with a topic on dealing with a topic that is pertaining to everyone and everybody that wants to work, and everybody that also wants to also do scholarships and travel outside the country, especially with the education to help work and help things to work together. So shall we pray? Father, we thank you for this evening. We appreciate you for your faithfulness towards us. Appreciate you for your goals. We appreciate you for your agenda since the last meeting started. We appreciate you for the commitment and the devotion and the consistency on how the experience can help people's lives and transform their life for the better. We know that this is what you will do to expand our generation and expand our world today. We thank you because you are God all alone. No man can ever take the place of God in our lives. So Lord, as we discussed about the topic of scholarship to help people improve their academic dreams and academic programs in business, in education, in career, and in different that you help us. You grant the speaker inspiration, grant the speaker wisdom, grant the speaker welfare on how to lead and how to guide us into understanding what to do at this time of this season, in this period. Grant him inspiration of God in heaven. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Hallelujah. So please, everyone, please, if you are not speaking, please kindly mute your mic, and please respond to the chat menu when we request for people to make comments. Then if you want to speak or ask questions, send it to any of the admins or send it to the group chat. Then we'll be able to recognize you on this meeting and this event. If you want to speak, you want your we are speaking to us, please, your video should be on. Please, this is an official meeting and we must carry, this is what the new normal has brought to us. So please make everything appropriate and in the faithfulness of God. We are going to introduce the visionary of this meeting for this great event. God bless you. Mr. Theophilus Godswill, the table is yours. Platform is yours.
All right. Very good evening to everyone. Thank you so much. Can you hear?
Yeah, I can hear you, sir.
Please, if you can. All right. Thank you so much for making it a date to be part of the second edition of the experience. I believe so much that you won't have to waste your time. It will be a quick one. and then you learn a lot as much as you have to learn. So why we are here at the end of the meeting, don't be in a rush to leave. At the end of the meeting, please don't be in a rush to leave. We will intimate you on what the experience is all about and how you could also contribute to the vision. Please make sure you don't rush out of the meeting. All right. My name is Theophilus Godswill. I'm a co-host for the experience. Now, why are we gathered here? We are gathered here for us to learn from our able. He's a coach. He's a mentor to many. So we are gathered here. We are gathered here to learn, to educate, to be educated, and to receive the requisite enablement that will help us to move forward in our academic and in other pursuits of life. So today our speaker is Pharm Aniekan. I know some of us have known him, and then for some of us we don't know him. So I'll quickly read through his profile for those of us that are not yet familiar with him, and then after which you will come up and continue from there. Okay, his profile is very massive. I truly don't know where to start from, but all the same, I will pick here and there. Just follow carefully, and I believe you get it. You get the whole idea, so that you have an idea of who is talking to you, so that you believe what he's saying, so that you don't just take for granted what he's saying, because I've been part of Zoom meetings where people just hear and go, and that is all. But I can assure you that this person has first class information. This person has the experience. He's not sharing what he read from book. He will be sharing with you what he passed through, and then he scaled through. So please pay your attention. Pharm Aniekan got his bachelor degree in pharmacy from the University of Uyo. He later moved on to the University of Edinburgh. I hope I got that pronunciation right. To further his education, where he had a master's in global health policy. Pharmacist Aniekan Young is, okay, sorry, I'm fond of calling him Young, so permit me. So Pharmacist Aniekan Young, he is currently the Regional Director of Global Health Focus, the London area, that is over there in the United Kingdom. Okay, the Regional Director for Africa. He serves as the Director for Pharmacy Projects. He also serves as the Director for African and the Global Project Manager for the Global Health Pharmacy. Now he holds, okay, I said that earlier, he holds a bachelor degree, pharmacy from the University of Uyo. Then in 2016, if I'm not mistaken, he won a grant. He won a grant. You know, that was during his undergraduate days, if I'm not mistaken. That was during his undergraduate days. He won the 2015 FYP YPG Professional Innovation Grant, where he analyzed the pharmaceutical workforce capacity in Nigeria. His team was recently awarded with $10,000 to undertake an inaugural project in tobacco harm reduction in Nigeria. Now, this is the person that will be talking to us live and direct. So please pay attention even as we invite him to bless us this afternoon. It's so much a privilege to have you around, sir. It's so much a privilege. I know of your tight schedule. I know how difficult we have to adjust the time. In fact, the meeting is supposed to be for 5:30, but we have to adjust and do all of that just for us to have you on this platform. We don't take that for granted. We really, really appreciate you. Thank you so much, sir. So at this moment, ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome our very own coach, on this platform today, pharmacist Aniekan. Over to you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Godswill. I appreciate the opportunity to be here. Thank you so much, everyone, for having me. I am grateful. I'm just going to share my screen now. That's possible. Okay, I think my screen is shared. Okay, now. So thank you so much once again for having me. I am grateful for the opportunity to share my experience, my ideas, and to provide information for our friends so that they're able to also assess the kind of opportunity they're able to have. So today I'll be talking about how we can secure fully funded scholarships. So I titled my discussion "For a Thriving Future: Assessing Quality Education at a Low Cost." I just want to share my story. If you can see, the middle picture was the picture I used to get my first international passport in 2015. I was still 2014, 2015. I was still a student then, and I had the opportunity to travel to India, where I represented Nigeria in a global health conference for students. It was in the course of this conference that I decided that I didn't just want to be a regular pharmacist, someone who goes to the community or hospital, that I really wanted to make my life count in a way that is different from what is obtainable and available where I studied. So after that, in 2017, I started my journey to obtaining a master's in global health policy. And I knew that to get quality education in a foreign country is going to, why I decided to settle for a fully funded scholarship opportunity. So between 2017 and 2019, I applied for about 8 scholarships. And God so having, in July 2019, I got 2 scholarships fully funded. One to the University of Edinburgh, where I got my choice course, Global Health Policy. And I also got another scholarship to the Hebrew University of Jerusalem, that's in Israel. And I actually went for the Global Health Policy program in Edinburgh. As you can see, the picture by your left below is the picture of University of Edinburgh, which was actually established in 1583, around that. And then you can see me and my friends in campus when we just take a chart. And then the other picture you can see by your right hand is the front of Buckingham Palace. That's where the Queen lives. Okay, just showing you my evolution and where I have been to throughout the course of the past 5 years. So, getting straight to what we have for today, getting priorities right. The first question I believe you should ask yourself is, why do I need a fully funded scholarship? I mean, everybody's talking about getting a scholarship to go to masters abroad, but I believe before you even start the journey, because it's actually a journey, it's not a day process. Like I said, I started applying for a fully funded scholarship in 2017 September, and I applied to over 8 scholarships, and I didn't get it until 2019, about July. So first of all, you need to ask yourself, why do I need a fully funded scholarship? Then the next question you need to ask yourself is, do I have everything it takes to secure a scholarship? Because a fully funded scholarship obviously is going to be very, very competitive, and they will need to take the best. So do you have everything it takes to secure a scholarship? Those 2 questions should set your priorities right. Moving further to something serious. Why would you need a fully funded scholarship? First of all, is to have access to quality education at prestigious universities in the world. I was fortunate enough to have been awarded Commonwealth's shared scholarship to study for global health policy, which was actually my dream course, in a top 20 university in the world, that's University of Edinburgh. So Why you need a fully funded scholarship is for you to have access to quality education at prestigious universities in the world. And it's also to expose you to multicultural societies. Traveling is an education in itself. Traveling exposes you to things that probably you wouldn't have been exposed to, which enriches your worldview. So that's why you need a fully funded scholarship. And also it allows you to network extensively. I cannot over, I cannot talk about the reason you need to network, because you have to find people of like minds in your field that you're able to work with, because once you're done with school, these are most of the people you likely work with. And in order to get jobs in top organization, there is some level of networking you need to do. So when you study in a prestigious university, for instance, you have people coming from all walks of life, from different countries. So you want to be able to get yourself in there so that you're able to network extensively for the benefit of your career. When you're talking about fully funded, what does it really entail? Fully funded means the tuition is free, you're being paid monthly living allowance, you have health insurance, probably paid, your flight tickets are paid for, your visa fee is covered, you're given a research grant. Most times you might be given a travel allowance, and some scholarships might provide a wardrobe allowance. In my own case, I actually had a fully funded scholarship. I got tuition, monthly living allowance, health insurance, flight tickets, visa, research grant, travel allowance. But what I didn't have was a wardrobe allowance. But I mean, scholarship differs. But for the one I was offered, that's the Commonwealth Shared Scholarship. This was what I got. So it was kind of fully funded. And what this does is it allows you to study in peace without having to think about where you're going to get your next meal from, or where you're going to get money to probably travel if you want to travel for a conference. So it's very, very beneficial if you can focus your mind to get a fully funded scholarship. So when we're talking about fully funded scholarships, what are the kinds of scholarships that we're looking at? There are various kinds of scholarships. Some are offered by foreign governments. We are looking at scholarships by probably the Australian government, the Canadian government, the Turkish government. Most are fully funded. Scholarships sponsored by international non-governmental organizations, scholarships sponsored by the Nigerian government. Yeah, they're actually scholarships that are funded by the Nigerian government, and also scholarships sponsored by international universities. So in terms of scholarships sponsored by foreign governments, we have the Swiss Government Excellence Scholarship for foreign students. They usually take masters and PhD students. And the timeline for application is always around September to December. So if you want to start noting that, so for the Swiss government, it's usually fully funded. And then you have the German Academic Exchange Service called the DAAD. They fund masters and PhD students, and the timeline of the application is between August and October. You have the Swedish Institute Scholarships for Global Professionals, where they take about 300 persons. But in terms of this scholarship, you actually need to have worked for about 3,000 hours before you're liable to apply for this scholarship. And the timeline for application is between 16th of October to 14th of November. They basically focus on master's students. You have the FL scholarships in France for international students. You have the Denmark government scholarships, and you have the Amsterdam Excellence Scholarship. These are all scholarships that are funded by government and are actually fully funded, that you can have a look at it and see if you can apply for them. The list goes on. You have British Chevening by the UK government, you have Fulbright by the US government, Endeavour Postgraduate by Australia, and then you have these countries, Canada, Taiwan, South Korea, sponsoring students to come study in their country, fully funded. So in terms of scholarships sponsored by international non-governmental organizations or institutions, you have the Gates Cambridge Scholarship, which is tenable at the University of Cambridge. You have the Joint Japan World Bank Scholarships, and then you have Rotary Foundation Global Study Grants and the MasterCard Foundation. So in terms of the Joint Japan World Bank Scholarships, it's based on people that are actually working, like young professionals, yeah? So what are the scholarships sponsored by Nigerian governments? Most of the scholarships sponsored by Nigerian government include NDDC scholarship, PTDF scholarship, TED fund, and the bilateral educational agreement. Most of the scholarships, you can actually find them on the internet. So you just have to pick them and Google them. In terms of scholarships sponsored by international universities, you have the scholarship by Maastricht universities in the Netherlands. You have scholarship by Westminster University. You also have a scholarship by Taipei Medical University for members or for participants that are medically inclined. And you have tuition-free universities. Most universities in Germany and Norway are tuition-free. Actually, you don't have to pay for tuition. What you just have to do is to apply, get admitted, and get yourself down. This is not fully funded, just that the tuition is free. So now that we've known the different arrays of fully funded scholarships, what are you to do? What do you need to consider? How do you start the preparation process? Because like I said earlier, it's not something you just wake up and you start doing. You need to have gone through a process of preparation. So where do you start from and what do you do? The first thing I would advise is get your transcripts available. We all know how challenging it can be for most universities to grant transcripts. So if you're going to apply for this year, I think it's already late to get a transcript. So if you're going to apply for next year, you need to start looking for your transcripts. Yeah, ensure your transcript is with you. I know it might be challenging to get your transcript from universities because most universities will never give you a transcript. What you can do is to liaise probably with a foreign organization or foreign university that they send the soft or the hard copy to them, mostly soft copy to them, and then they can now send the transcript back to you. Or mostly you can use an organization because they will prefer to send your transcript to an organization than to you personally because of the fear of mutilation. Once you're done with having your transcript, the next thing you want to consider is to make available reference letters. Because when you're looking for admission and even when you're applying for scholarships, you need to obtain a reference letter, and it's advisable you get reference letters from your lecturer, probably someone you studied with, or someone that you engaged your project with. It's also great if you can have a reference letter if you're working from your manager or your boss, and also maybe any senior academic, maybe a professor. This makes you a bit legitimate, depending on the quality of your reference. When you're applying for competitive scholarships like Commonwealth Share Scholarship, you need to get high-ranking lecturers, professors to be able to recommend you for the scholarship. So get your transcripts ready, get your reference letters ready. I'd advise you to get about 2 to 3 reference letters. And if possible, try and liaise with maybe your professors in the university and ask them that you love them to recommend you, and do that in time. You don't have to do that when it's like 3 months to application. You need to have done that in time because these guys can be very busy. So you want to be sure that you can always reach out to them and then they can give you the letter. And this is also to advise that it's good you have previous communication with people you might want to get your recommendation letter from, because it's not just nice because you need a recommendation letter, you just message someone. It doesn't work that way. Recommendation letter works based on knowledge, based on the person knowing you and wanting to stand for you. So it's good you establish a relationship with someone you want to request recommendation or reference letters from. So once you've done that, the next thing you want to do is to ensure you have your test of English language ready. Now, most scholarships, for instance, Commonwealth, Chevening, would require that you take the IELTS or maybe TOEFL or other English language exams. But if you want to just apply straight to the university, most universities can offer you a waiver if you studied in an English-speaking country. For instance, Nigeria, you can always tell them that you probably had a B or a C in English in your WAEC. That can always be waived off. But if you are going to apply for a fully funded scholarship, it is advisable that you get your IELTS ready. Just register for that and know that at least you've got that done with. For fully funded scholarships in the US, Canada, and Australia, you might need GRE. GRE, that's the Graduate Record Examination. It's an examination to test your aptitude for a postgraduate school or a graduate school. So you might need to write that down. Then, once you're done, for scholarships such as Commonwealth, you want to gain admission from a foreign university. So for instance, before I applied for the Commonwealth scholarship, I had to be sure that I applied for admission in the University of Edinburgh. It was after I applied that I now applied for the Commonwealth Shared Scholarship. So it's advisable that you apply for admission first, and while you're doing that, you apply for a scholarship, because once you have, for example, in Commonwealth, once you have admission in university you want to study, then it's now easier for you to be given a scholarship to actually study to study in the university. So it's advisable you gain admission from a foreign university or the university of your choice. Then you need to stick to deadlines, So if you want to apply for, let's say, Commonwealth scholarship, it happens in about 2 months from when they release the call for application. So you want to be sure that you know when the call is out and when the deadline is going to be, so that you're able to apply during that process. The next thing you want to consider is presence on social media and the internet. The internet and social media is a very strong recruiting tool nowadays. So in terms of fully funded scholarships or competitive scholarships, what recruiters do is that they go to your social media accounts, for instance, on Facebook, on Twitter, and see the kind of things you're tweeting about. So if you say you are interested in global health policy, they want to be seeing tweets that promote health policy, healthcare, health systems, or you engaging in activities to promote what you want to do. That's a way of weeding out people that are serious. So if you want to start applying for this fully funded scholarship, you want to have a positive presence on social media. This is very key. This is very important. Also, you need a strong CV. When you are applying for Commonwealth scholarship or other fully funded scholarships, they are quite competitive. For instance, Chevening, about 60,000 persons usually apply for Chevening, and they would want to take about 6,000. That's about 10% of everyone that have applied globally. How are you going to be chosen? You need a strong CV. So that's why this is very important. And how do you gain a strong CV, or what makes a CV strong? There are some key ingredients such as work experience. Have you worked before? If you've worked, what did you do? What did you achieve? Leadership positions. When you were in university, were you volunteering? Were you occupying leadership positions? Volunteering opportunities. Do you have academic publications or awards? So what these 4 things do is they make you a potential candidate. So for instance, when Commonwealth wants to select you, they want to select someone that has leadership experience, that has volunteered, and that probably has academic publications. When you have academic publications, it shows that you can critically think. And when you go into graduate school, we need your critical thinking skills. So having academic publications, having commentaries, writing for blogs, or writing for newspapers shows that you're a very strong candidate. These are some of the things you want to consider on your CV. Now you've known what you want to do. The next thing to do is you have to prepare for essay writing. This essay writing is for the fully funded scholarship. For instance, Commonwealth. Let's use Commonwealth for this program. Commonwealth will require you to write a lot of essays. And what they want you to prove is your leadership skills. What have you done as a student leader? What have you done after you finish school? What is your potential for being a great leader? When they ask you this essay, these are some of the things they want to see. Then they might also ask you, what is your networking capabilities? How can you network with people to bring about positive change? How can you network with people to make sure your career goes further than it is. What have you done in the past that shows that you are able to network very well? And then another question that you might be asked that you might want to prepare for is a development statement. So for instance, let's use myself. You want to study for global health policy. Why do you want to study for global health policy? Why do we fund you for a global policy course at the University of Edinburgh? What is the gap that you've noticed in your country? What is the solution you're proffering? And how is that worthwhile for the money we want to sponsor you with? So those are some of the things you want to pay attention to in the essay writing session. Most scholarships have different criterias. But in terms of Commonwealth, they'll always ask you for a proof of your leadership. They'll ask you for your development statement. And they'll ask you for your career plan. Like, what do you want to do after you finish studying? Because I mean, most persons might just go to grad school because it's just the right thing to do after undergraduates or being an undergraduate. And most persons are not able to fine tune their kind of plans, going forward. So Commonwealth will ask you, what is your career plan and what do you want to do post award? Yeah. So in writing this essay, these are things you want to keep considering. I would advise you for now, just go back home and begin to think, how have I shown leadership potentials? What are the things I've seen as a development gap that I would want to study ahead to be able to solve them? And what do I want to do once I get this, this position? Once I get the master's or the PhD position, what do I want to do going forward? You also have to consider your choice of university, the course, and the country, because it's very important. For instance, University of Edinburgh is a master in global health policy. They engage in a lot of policy making as in an undergraduate level. So one thing that drew me to University of Edinburgh was because they had experts in health policy development, health policy management. And I felt that going to the university would expose me to experts in this field and make me learn from them. And that was really a great choice because I was able to interface with a lot of experts in global health policy in the world. So your choice will also determine the way you position and structure your essay. Another thing that you might want to consider is your personal statement. Personal statement is, why is this scholarship position? Why is this scholarship opportunity important to you? Why is it fundamental to you? Why must you be the one to be selected and not the other person? Yeah. So these 6 things, or these 5 things, are things you want to put in mind during the essay writing session. Now, what I talked about initially was essay writing for the scholarship. But before you can apply for a scholarship, remember I said you have to get into the university first. Before you get into university, some schools will require you to write a statement of purpose, to understand why you want to study in the university, why the university have to give you admission. Remember I said it's different from why you need to be awarded a scholarship. So when we ask what exactly is the structure of a statement of purpose, this is something that confuses a lot of people. It shouldn't be so complex when you have a structure. So what's the structure like? I got this structure from the Study Abroad guys on shaker.com, and they gave it in a very clear way. The first paragraph should be your introduction. The second paragraph, you should have your background. The third paragraph should be, why do you want to study the course you want to study? What are your career goals? Why this university? And a conclusion. So for instance, let me use myself as an example. You could say, start with an introduction. Introduce the academic field of interest, for instance. You could say, in my case, I would say, I want to study global health policy because everything that matters in healthcare depends on policy. So we need policy makers, yeah? So what is the background? I have been a pharmacist for many years, and I have noted that the change we require on a large scale would have to come from the population level and not from the individual level, yeah? Change happens at the policy level, not at the individual level. So I've been a pharmacist. Why this course? Why do you want to pursue this particular course? Because I know that change happens at the population level. I believe that in order to contribute to this change, I need to gain a master's in global health policy. You understand how the progression goes on. Then what are your career goals? I hope to maybe work with the World Health Organization or maybe work with the Ministry of Health in Nigeria to be able to develop policies that will move the healthcare system positively. Yeah? Then why this university? University of Edinburgh has experts in global health policy, and I want to learn from the experts. In conclusion, you sum up everything you just said, and that's a statement of purpose. Simple and clear. You need to know your why. Why do you want to do it? What is the background? What supports you? What have you gone through? For instance, some people might have said, I've worked probably in the Ministry of Health, so I have an understanding of the policy landscape in Nigeria. And I believe that if I gain a master's in global health policy, I could do better. Yeah. So once you're writing your statement of purpose, have this at the back of your mind that there must be an introduction, there must be a background, there must be a reason for the course you're pursuing, there must be your career goals, there must be a motivation for your university, and also a conclusion. Once you've done this, I would advise you to share your essay with expert reviewers. There are people that have an eye for details that you might want to share your essays with so that they might correct your mistakes and probably give you more ideas on how to develop your essay better. So please make use of expert reviewers. Now, some persons might say some universities require personal statement and while others require statement of purpose. Why? Is there any difference? Yes, there's a difference between an academic statement of purpose and a personal statement. And according to the University of Michigan, a statement of purpose is basically a statement about your academic and research background, your career goals, and how probably the university you want to attend will help you meet your career and educational objectives. And as you've seen, as it's stated, there should be about 1 to 3 pages. But if a university requires you to submit a personal statement, then we're talking about your personal journey, your motivation. What did you see? What did you experience? What did you go through that has motivated you, that has inspired you to want to pursue a postgraduate degree? So there's a level of difference between academic statement of purpose and personal statement. So in terms of grading system, so you've applied for the Commonwealth Scholarship. You are hoping that you're selected. What are the matrices for selection by Commonwealth, for instance? The first thing that you want to consider is your academic merit. Fully funded scholarships are, I wouldn't say they are meant for exceptionally bright students, but being an exceptionally bright student gives you that opportunity to advance further. So one of the merits they would want to look at is your examination results. Yeah, they will also go through your academic transcripts and your tutors and referees reports. Remember I talked about recommendation letter? This is where you need to get someone that can speak to your ability. And then other indicators that they might look at and consider your application will be your academic prizes or awards, and probably other relevant academic achievement. For instance, did you, debate? Did you, go on competitions? Did you win? And then in some instances, do you have a publication in your field? So in terms of PhD, for PhD students, you want to look at the quality of your research proposal. Is it everything they would want? Is there clarity of expression? Is your research feasible? Can you finish it in 3 years? That's for PhD students. That's what they want to consider. In terms of your master's, your essay is important. And this is why it's important, because this is where they will be able to indicate how good you are or how composed you are to be able to complete the grad school. It's going to be shown on your essay. And then the extent to which the proposed course and institution have been well researched will also be seen in the way you write your essay. For instance, you want to go on into University of Edinburgh. How much do you know of Edinburgh as a university and its potential to help you grow further in your choosing career? I gave you an instance that the reason I wanted to go to University of Edinburgh was because they had policy experts. So for me, that was like an attraction because I would learn from the experts. So that's why I really wanted to go to University of Edinburgh among other universities. So that's something you want to consider. Why do you want to go to the university? And you must be able to vocalize it through your essay. Another indicator would be as existing offer of admission to the course. Like I said earlier, you're applying for a Commonwealth shared scholarship. You need to be sure that you have at least an admission in the university you want to go to. That helps a lot. So if two persons are applying for Commonwealth shared scholarship and one person has admission in the University of Edinburgh and the other person does not have admission, then it's most likely that the person that have admission would be favored more than the person that doesn't have. So it's something you want to consider. And then lastly, the indicator they use to grade essays or grade applications in Commonwealth shared scholarship is the development impact. So why do you want to do what you want to do? Of what use is it? How is it going to make what like your need better? Like how is it going to address the need? What are the expected outcomes? What are the skills that you have already, and what are the skills you might want to develop through the process of the program? And then they also look at the fact that, have you been a volunteer before? I mean, if someone is going to give you a scholarship, they would hope that you've carried out volunteering projects. So for people that have not volunteered, I would recommend and advise that you try and volunteer, because it's part of the indicators in grading essays, in fully funded scholarships. Why people mostly favor people that have probably done voluntary work is that they feel you have a desire to help the society. And if you have this desire to help the society, when you graduate, it's most likely that you use that, that ambition, that desire, that motivation to see through the need of your community. So it's very advisable that you get your hands on leadership positions, get your hands on voluntary positions. So in summary, that's basically the grading system for the assessment of application for Commonwealth Scholarship. So I'm gradually getting to the end of my presentation, but I just want us to be very practical with what we want to do. So you want to get into fully funded scholarships. I would advise you to have a similar table to what I have here on my screen. Then look at the countries you want to, probably further your education. Let's say you want to go to England, and then you're in England now. You've written England on the table. You now go straight to the next tab. What university would I want to attend? University of Edinburgh. What is the kind of course I want to do? Global health policy. What are the requirements? You need to have a 2-1 and above. How much is the fees? It's 21,000 British pounds. What are the kinds of funding available? Commonwealth shared scholarship. What is the extra information that might help? It's a nice city. There's a potential to work as a student. You get to interact with experts. And what are your comments? You're probably strongly considering to apply for it. So if you want a fully funded scholarship, you can just populate these country tabs with all the countries you want to go to, probably England, Spain, Portugal, the US, Canada, even in Africa, South Africa, Rwanda, countries with a better standard of education. And then once you have that tab, move to the universities. What are the kind of universities I would want to go to? And then are there scholarships for this kind of course? And how do you know a university that provides scholarship for a particular course? Just go to the course website, go to tuition fees, go to scholarships and funding. You will always see the kind of scholarships that they have. You can copy that, put on this table, so that at the end you kind of have an idea of what is available and what the requirement might be. Yeah? Doing this makes you practical, hands-on, so that when it's time for you to apply, you have all the information at the tip of your finger and you're able to apply appropriately. And then I would say that you should make use of social media. It's very important, especially Twitter. A lot of people post opportunities on Twitter that you probably won't have known. So I've kind of harvested some people's posts on Twitter, which I believe you should follow if you can. One of them is Waka Waka Doctor, who posts a lot of scholarships. If you go to his tweet, you see a lot of scholarships and opportunities. You should follow him on Twitter. And then you see Dr. Dikbo Awojide. He has an educational consultancy. If you have an issue that you want a consultant, he's consulting. He stays in the UK. And you have Olu Dayo Sukumbis. I think he's a PhD student as well. So what I've done is kind of harvested these guys for you to see that a lot is happening on Twitter, and you need to follow them to get this information. You need to be proactive enough, use all the media that you have to get all the information that you want. And these guys are very open. You can always DM them and ask them questions and get clarifications. Okay. So finally, what is my hope? Why am I doing this presentation? Why am I sharing my experience? I hope that someday, just like I received this email, that you also receive the email that states you have been awarded with so and so scholarship. See you in the so and so country soon. That's my hope. And I hope that you can take whatever I've said into practice and get yours fully from the scholarship. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, pharmacist. Thank you. Thank you. Really appreciate you. Very straightforward. Thank you. I believe so much that we've learned a lot. I'm very confident that the information he has just shared with us are not easily gotten anywhere. You know, this is one person that has traveled through the path, and he's sharing. He's telling us how to get these things done. He's telling us how to get these things done. So please, sir, we want to please take a few minutes to ask questions, and then hope that you answer as many as you can answer. Probably just 10 minutes, questions, and then we answer as many as we can answer. Thank you so much, sir. So over to you, sir, once more, just for 10 minutes for questions.
Yeah, sure. How do you do it? Do I go through the chat myself, or is that okay? Yes, I think I'll just go through the chat and just go answer the questions. Yeah,
that's okay, sir. That's okay.
Okay, great.
Yes.
So for the first question from John, for the IELTS exams, there are different categories such as only academic, general, and academic. Please, which is advisable for someone who does not have use of a NECO in one sitting, as I have learned that scholarships can make use of NECO. Oh, IELTS, basically what you have to apply for is academic, not general. Academic because you want to go for a master's, and that's the way they can accept that you're ready for a master's in an English-speaking country. So please, IELTS academic. And I hope that is clear. If it's not clear enough, please post your question on the chat box. For the recommendations letter, must the person referring you indicate the school you're applying to, or should it be a general one? I hereby recommend ADC for, okay. This is because if one is applying to more than one school, they, oh yeah, okay. So what we do, what most people do is they liaise with the person that wants to recommend them to have a template for submission. So for instance, when I was doing my application, I didn't apply to only global to only University of Edinburgh. I applied to like 3 universities. But what I did was, for each university and whatever they might have wanted, we just kind of personalize it to the university, but there's already a template. So your recommender don't have to start writing from the first, it doesn't have to write from scratch. You just use the template and personalize for the course or the program you want to do in the university. So I would recommend you work with your recommender to have a template, so that if no matter the number of universities are applying for, what they can just do is put your name, put the program, just personalize it. Okay, I hope that helps. Hello, please, how can we get the recording on slides? It's on YouTube. Okay, great. Does my goal has to benefit the community? Can I talk about my personal benefit? This is an interesting question. This is an amazing question. Okay, so in terms of if you want to apply for a fully funded scholarship, you have to know that you're not the only person that's going to apply for it. Like I said, over like 60,000 persons, if I'm not mistaken, apply for Chevening, and they need about 6,000. So that is about 10% of persons that they need. And if the UK government is funding you through Chevening, they want to be sure that they're investing in you to make a difference in your community, in your nation. Yeah. So when you're talking about your goal or the goal of writing an essay for a fully funded scholarship, please, it has to be what you can do to your community, not your personal benefit. But if you are the one paying your tuition, then it's fine. It can be about you and your career aspiration and all. But if you want to secure a fully funded scholarship, it has to be for the community, because remember, you are funded to help. Yeah, I think that should answer that. Okay, I think I've responded. In regards to publication, how can one publish personal journals? I believe you meant to say academic journals. If you say personal journals, I believe you're meant to say academic, your work, probably your project work. What you can do is go on the internet, look for open access journals. Open access journal means that you don't necessarily have to pay for the journal fee or the subscription fee, or you just Google and check for free journals that wouldn't um, obtain money for you to publish. Yeah, and then you go to the website. There's always information for authors. There's a passage or there's a place in the website that will show you the kind of information they require from you, yeah, before you can submit your manuscript. So you can go through it. It will have the structure of your manuscript, the kind of font you should use, the content of what they want you to do, yeah. So it's all on the internet. So what I want you to do is go on the internet, Google for free journals or open access journals, or journals that can publish the kind of work that you do. For those that are not free, you can always write to the editors that you're a student if they can waive the publication fee for you. Once you've done that, you've established that first stage. Then the second stage is for you to go to the website and go to the tab information for authors. Information for authors tells you the kind of information you will need in order to publish your paper or your manuscripts. And I hope that answers your question. Are there scholarships for people with grades of less than 2-1? I would say there are, but it's kind of very limited. I'm not just going to be lying. It's kind of very limited. Remember, it's fully funded and they want the brightest of the brightest. Yeah, the best of the best. But for scholarships that don't require you to probably have a first class or a 2-1, then you can apply for that. But if they've explicitly said that you need a 2-1, a first class, then I would say maybe just apply, but most likely they're going to look at your grades. You know, depending on the number of individuals that have first class or 2-1s. If there are more that have, then your chances are limited. But if there are less, then probably your chances are higher. If you can have good leadership skills, leadership experience, or volunteer experience, so you can always marry that together. But the number of scholarships are quite limited. Those with less than 2-1 can get their. Okay, this is great. Thank you so much for this. So for the World Education Summit, you can actually get your GPA upgraded. I didn't know about this, so please check that out on how you can get your GPA upgraded. But what I might not know in terms of fully funded scholarships, you might upgrade your GPA with WES, But I don't know in terms of fully funded scholarship, if they might accept that. I don't have an idea. So it's something you want to investigate. And I hope that you're able to, have access to that. I don't have a lot of information about that. Is it true that one needs a passport before applying? Yes, you might need a passport before applying, because when you're applying to university, most times they ask you for your passport number just to know that you're an international student, and then they classify you as an international student. So I advise you to get a passport if you can. Most universities will require for it. I've been in search of scholarship opportunities for the tech field, especially graphic design. Please, can you help me with any link or such opportunities? It appears this scholarship favors those in the sciences. Yeah, I would agree with you. There is a little bit of tendency to award scholarships to people in STEM, in healthcare, in the development sector, but I believe they are scholarships. I think what you can just do is just keep searching, or you can go on Twitter, go to the search bar, and then probably type in graphic design scholarship masters. If there are opportunities like that, you can see them. I have not really seen opportunities for graphic designers, fine arts, and UI UX. That's product design. I've not really seen a lot of that, but I believe that they might be there. You just have to search a bit harder. You can also use Google. I believe you use Google, but I would agree that most scholarship tends to favor guys in the science and social science. I would agree with that. Can you please hold a class on how to write a research proposal for graduate study in case one is applying for a research-based program? Of course I can. I mean, even if I can't, then I know of people that will be happy to do that. Yeah. This was a very nice. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Is first class important for scholarship? No, it isn't. I didn't have a first class. I had a 2-1. So I didn't have a first class and I got the scholarship. So it's necessary, but it's not essential. I think that makes sense. It's important, but not essential. Yes. It's important, but not essential. I wanted to find out if there's any consideration one need to have in mind in choosing universities to apply. So other than them offering, yeah, there might be some considerations. For instance, the alumni of the university, do they have great people that you can, after you finish, you can walk up to them and say, okay, I was in your university. Can you probably offer me a job, or can I work with you? Can I learn from you? So you want to consider the alumni. You want to consider the town, because like when you're studying, it's not just book you'll be doing. It's not just the academic part. You also need to travel around. So you need a nice town, yeah. And then, like I said earlier, the experts, the kind of opportunities some program will give you. Some program allows you to go on placement in the industry. Those are some of the considerations you want to look out for. Your recommendation for Twitter is the social. Yes, yes. Thank you so much, Omaho, for that. LinkedIn, yes, yes, please. You should go on LinkedIn as well to search for that. I hope the person that asked saying that. Okay, I think that's all the questions that I've seen here. If there's any other question, I'm happy to answer. Well, I think that's all I've seen.
Thank you so much, pharmacist. Thank you. You don't know how thankful I am. You don't know how grateful I am. Thank you. I believe so much that everyone on this platform is very, very thankful and very, very grateful for sharing this beautiful information with each and every one of us, and free of charge. Thank you so much. Thank you. It's a rare one. It's a rare one. I can assure you that it's a rare one. And we pray that the Lord God Almighty blesses you in the name of Jesus Christ. Pharmacist, please, I want to plead on behalf of everyone, if it's possible, to have those slides available so that we could share it to each and everyone that was able to attend the meeting. I don't know if that's possible for you. It's your property. So I don't know. All right. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir. So
Also remind them
guys, thank you. Oh, okay, they could, yeah, you could also, please everyone, you could also download the video on YouTube. I think that also could serve. That also could serve. Guys, thank you so much for making that time to be part of this. Now, this is what we're talking about. We're looking at the future. You know, we have to equip ourselves with the, there are opportunities out there. The problem is many of us, we don't know how to go about these opportunities, and that is why the experience is here, so that we have people share their experiences, and then together we help each other move forward. So please, in case you have any experience, any worthwhile experience you want to share with the public, you know, with well-meaning youth that are serious with their life and are ready to take their life to the next level, please, you can contact, okay, at the end of everything, I'll give out 2 numbers. You can contact us, please, and then we'll see how we could make a time to have you on the experience so that you can share your experience with us. It probably might not be yourself. Probably you know someone who has the valuable information that will be very helpful to the youth. Please make sure you contact these contacts I will be dropping so that we all can help ourselves. Now, the experience is an initiative. Some group of people come together to see how we could help ourselves grow. Now, we actually what was the English now? We have the podcast session, and we also have the monthly edition of Share Your Experience with the Experience. Now, you are free to be part of this vision. You are truly free to be part of this vision. In fact, as you can see from the flyer, there is no name of this person is hosting what. No, it's not a person thing, it's a people thing. So as many that want to be part of the vision, you are welcome. We need writers, we need editors, we need graphic designers, volunteers, graphic designers, volunteer writers, volunteer bloggers, and just web designers. Contact 081 36 30 11 081 36 11. The second one is 070 69 73 42. 070 88 69 73. These 2 contacts, you know, any person you want to ask, inquiries, contributions, it's an open secret. These 2 contacts. Pharmacists, thank you so much. Thank you. I can take the whole day thanking you. Thank you so much. Now, before I go, we don't have the time to acknowledge everyone in our presence, but everyone is truly acknowledged. You are very important. We love you. From Team Experience, we really appreciate your time. But before I go, let me appreciate the people that made this possible. Shegun, Mr. Shegun, Premier Shegun, thank you so much. He has been our public relation officer. He has been, you know, up and doing. Mr. John Odeyemi, thank you. Yeah, thank you so much. Mr. John Odeyemi has been our media person. He has been in charge of media, setting up the Zoom meeting and all of that. Thank you so much, Mr. Miss. Is it Miss now or what's her name? Okay, Fumilayo Bakari, thank you. Thank you. She's our chief editor. Thank you so much. Lovette, I don't think she's here. Thank you so much. Mr. Sampson, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Mr. George. Mr. George is our volunteer graphic designer. Thank you so much. Please make sure that you be part of the next edition because it promises to be very, very powerful. Thank you. Thank you. Good time having you guys. Pharmacists, thank you. All right, until we come your way again, next time, it's a goodbye from all of us, the experience. We can exchange pleasantries right now and then try to meet new people. Get
Like,
contact.
give us the
Get
numbers
contact.
again. I missed it.
The numbers. Did you say the number?
Yes.
Okay, the number is 081